Once upon a time, nestled in the green valleys of a quiet and humble land, there lived a young boy named Ma Liang. His family was so poor that they couldn't even afford a single paintbrush for him to practice his art. But Ma Liang's spirit was rich with talent. He saw the world as his canvas, and his tools were whatever he could find: a slender bamboo stick, a piece of charcoal from the fire, even his own fingers tracing shapes in the dirt. Every spare moment was spent drawing. He sketched the gnarled branches of ancient banyan trees, the graceful flight of a crane, the gentle curve of the mountains, and the hard-working faces of the people in his village. Though he had nothing, Ma Liang was kind-hearted and diligent. More than anything, he dreamed of owning a real brush, not for himself, but so he could paint beautiful things to help the people around him. One night, as the moon cast a silvery glow over his small thatched hut, a wondrous thing happened. As Ma Liang slept, a divine, shimmering figure appeared in his dream. The spirit's voice was like a gentle breeze, soft and clear. "Ma Liang," it said, "I have seen your remarkable talent and, more importantly, your pure and generous heart. Take this magic brush, but remember, you must use it only to help good and honest people." When Ma Liang's eyes fluttered open the next morning, he thought it was all just a dream. But there, lying beside him on his simple straw mat, was a paintbrush. It wasn't an ordinary brush. It glowed with a faint, golden light, feeling warm and alive in his hand. It was the magic brush from his dream. Overjoyed and a little bit nervous, Ma Liang knew he had been given a sacred trust. He was determined to use this gift for good. He stepped outside, his heart pounding with excitement. He saw a farmer struggling to till his rocky field with a broken hoe. Remembering the spirit's words, Ma Liang took the magic brush and, on the side of a large smooth rock, he painted a new, sturdy hoe. The moment he lifted the brush from the final stroke, the painting began to shimmer and peel away from the stone. It fell to the ground with a soft thud. A real, solid hoe, ready for work. The farmer stared in disbelief, then bowed deeply in gratitude. From that day on, Ma Liang dedicated himself to helping his fellow villagers. He saw a poor man whose water buffalo had grown too old to plow. With a few graceful strokes, Ma Liang painted a strong, healthy buffalo on the dusty ground. The painting came to life, snorting and swishing its tail, ready to help its new master. When he saw hungry children with empty bowls, he painted bowl after bowl of steaming, fragrant rice, and the paintings became real food that filled their bellies and brought smiles to their faces. Ma Liang's heart swelled with happiness. He was finally able to bring hope and comfort to the people he cared about. But such a miraculous power could not stay secret for long. Word of the boy with the magic brush traveled like wildfire, carried on the wind from village to village, until it reached the ears of the local magistrate. This magistrate was a man whose heart was shriveled by greed. His only desire was to amass more wealth and power. Upon hearing the rumors, he galloped to the village with his guards, his eyes gleaming with avarice. He had Ma Liang captured and dragged before him. "I hear you have a magic brush," the magistrate sneered. "Paint gold for me. Mountains of gold coins. Paint chests of priceless jewels. I want to be richer than the emperor himself." Ma Liang stood tall and looked the greedy man straight in the eye. He held the brush tightly and said with a firm voice, "This brush was given to me to help the poor and the good-hearted. It is not meant to serve the greed of wicked people." The magistrate's face turned purple with rage. How dare this peasant boy defy him? He ordered his guards to throw Ma Liang into a dark, damp prison cell. For days, they tortured him, trying to break his spirit and force him to paint treasures. But Ma Liang remained steadfast. He would rather endure any pain than betray the gift he had been given. Locked away in the darkness, the magistrate thought he had won. But he underestimated Ma Liang's courage and the power of the brush. That night, alone in his cell, Ma Liang took out his magic brush. On the cold stone wall, he began to paint. He painted a heavy wooden door, complete with an iron handle. The moment he finished the last detail, the painted door glowed, solidified, and creaked open. Ma Liang simply walked out of his prison, free once more. When the magistrate discovered the empty cell, he flew into a rage and sent his soldiers chasing after the boy. Ma Liang saw them coming, a cloud of dust on the horizon, but he wasn't afraid. With quick, sweeping motions, he painted a towering mountain range that sprang up from the flat earth, blocking their path. When the soldiers tried to go around it, he painted a wide, rushing river that roared between its banks. Terrified and defeated, The magistrate and his men could only watch as Ma Liang disappeared into the distance. The tale of Ma Liang's escape and his incredible power eventually reached the highest authority in the land, the emperor, consumed by the same greed as the magistrate, only on a much grander scale. The emperor ordered his entire army to find and capture Ma Liang. Eventually, the boy was brought to the magnificent, yet cold, imperial palace. The emperor sat on his golden throne, his face a mask of impatience. "So, you are the boy with the magic brush," he boomed. "Forget painting hose and rice. I want something worthy of my power. Paint me a dragon, a mighty dragon that can fly, so I may ride it to the heavens." Ma Liang knew that giving such a powerful creature to a cruel and selfish ruler would only bring more suffering to the world. He had to be clever. Bowing his head respectfully, he agreed, but with a plan forming in his mind. First, he painted a vast blue sea on a giant silk scroll. The water looked so real you could almost smell the salt. Then, he added giant white-capped waves and a dark, stormy sky. The court gasped at the realism. Finally, on the tumultuous sea, he painted a magnificent, ornate boat, large enough for the emperor and his court. The emperor was delighted. He couldn't wait to inspect the vessel. He and his most trusted ministers stepped onto the painted deck of the boat, marveling at its craftsmanship. As soon as they were all aboard, Ma Liang took his brush again. With a few swift, powerful strokes, he painted a ferocious tempest. Instantly, the painted scene roared to life. Thunder cracked, and lightning split the sky. A hurricane-force wind howled across the sea, whipping the waves into a frenzy. The grand boat was tossed about like a leaf in the storm, torn from its mooring and swept far out into the raging, endless ocean. The emperor, his ministers, and all their greed vanished into the storm, never to be seen again. With the wicked rulers gone, Ma Liang was finally free to return to his beloved village. He went back to the simple life he knew, surrounded by the people he loved. He continued to use his magic brush, but only for good. He painted bridges to connect villages, irrigation canals to water the fields, and schools where children could learn. He never once used its power for his own gain or to satisfy any selfish desire. From that day forward, the story of Ma Liang and his magic brush was told across the land. He became a legend, and the brush, a powerful symbol of how kindness, justice, and true talent should always be used to serve others, not oneself. And in the hearts of the people, Ma Liang's art lived on forever, a testament to the boy who painted a better world for everyone. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you won't miss our next journey into the world of folklore. See you next time.